When critical incidents unfold, a specialized team steps up, trained, equipped, and ready for just about anything. Hi, everyone. I'm Randy Warren, and today we're talking about the emergency services team, the tools they use, and how they prepare for some of the most challenging things our community may face. Welcome back to the Well Said podcast with your sheriff, Rick Wells.
Good to see you again, Randy.
Good to be
I'm
here.
very happy today to have a North Carolina boy. How long have you been in Florida now?
Since 2008.
So Lieutenant North Carolina boy Ray Moss is here in the house. How many years did you do in North Carolina on the law enforcement side?
22 years.
22 years. And then you moved to Florida. Why? Usually Floridians are moving to North Carolina. Yeah, so what happened?
We did it backwards. I followed my wife. She came down here
Good answer.
to go to school.
Yeah, good answer.
And so I came with her.
Say no more. Say no more, my friend. We get it.
And no regrets.
No regrets.
Well, we're glad to have you.
No, we really are. I mean, Ray is a very important part of what we do with emergency services, his knowledge, his leadership. And I think that, today what we try to do, Randy, is I kind of consider this podcast like a monthly Citizens Academy. We want to highlight the agency and those that are doing the work each and every day in our community. And we want to give our citizens a glimpse of what's going on and, why do you have that big bus that we see driving down the road sometimes? What is all that about, right? Well, we're going to tell you today because
He's got all kind of toys.
he's got a lot of toys. And we'll get into that too because
Vital tools.
some of those tools were, they're all a necessity, but some we purchased after we realized we needed more. Because the bottom line is when we have an emergency, we have to react and we've got to get in there quickly. And that's what we do. And once again, Ray's a big part of that. So glad to have you, my friend.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
He has another job too, right?
He does. He does. He's
Because we look at Ray.
he's in professional standards.
Yeah, right. So,
But I wanted, that's a good point because emergency services are all basically collateral, right, positions. So these are deputies and other personnel in the within the agency that do this when called. It's specialized training. They train for this. So they may work 8 hours and get called out at 2 o'clock in the morning because we have a situation that requires their expertise.
and we're kind of getting into the season, Ray,
Yes, we are.
to where we might just have to be dealing with at least the weather-related stuff, and hopefully it's going to be a we don't want to say the Q word, but uneventful.
That's
Season.
Ray's favorite part of the year. He loves it.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sheriff.
So tell us about leading emergency services team.
Well, emergency services encompass what the word says, emergency, and we provide service. It's a critical component of our agency. The sheriff, when he said he purchased a lot of toys, we did. 2 seasons ago, 2 years ago with the hurricanes really was a wake call for us because we had 3 distinct storms that year. We had a flood, we had a surge, and then we had the wind to deal with, which was very unusual for our area. Normally we had the Indian mound to protect us, and
What happened there?
well, they did.
Okay.
Storms died down a little bit before they hit the coast, so I like to go with it that they did help us. But we use these resources to respond to the community to save lives, get people back on their feet. When they flood and the medications are in the house, we go get it. Absolutely. We go get animals. It's more than just, riding up and down the street or exercising, touch your truck event with these resources we have. We use them for to help people. And that's especially hurricane season, most people think of that. And because we do have the different type. We're on the coast, we're going to get wind, we're going to get rain, we're going to get flooding. So we work hard to make sure we have the resources to respond to whatever arises out of those emergencies. Emergency services also cover our crisis negotiation team, where we will, in the old days, we would call that hostage negotiation team. But we, now with crisis, when people in crisis, barricaded subjects, mental distress subjects, as well as those that are hostages, domestic situation, things like that, where we have specially trained deputies that can deal with these people on the mental health aspects and to talk them down from a high crisis situation so we can deal with them. And it's specialized training that they go to. They train every month, as well as going additional training with the state, other agencies. We do a collaborative effort. We try to get the community involved when we do our training to be actors, which they like. They get to see, be bad people or, play a role. It's fun when we do it. We try to make the training fun, but we make it realistic so our deputies, when the call goes in the middle of the night, as the sheriff says, that we're ready to respond.
These are made up of people that have all other kind of day jobs.
Everyone has a second job. This is everyone with the sheriff wear multiple hats so that we can do specialized things.
So usually what happens, we have a SWAT call out, we have a barricaded subject inside of a home. People want to know why we take so long to try to have them come out on their own. Is because we're spending time communicating with them, and that's what these trained deputies are doing. We're on the phone. We're trying to talk them down. We don't want any violence. We don't want to come and send SWAT into the home. So we want to talk them down and hopefully get them to a point where he'll come out on our own. I want you to come out on your own and let us deal with the issue at hand, right? Let us help you and get you to a better point in life, because right now you're struggling, you're not making good decisions, and we would prefer not to have to bust in that door and come in. And so they spend, so they spend a lot of time on the phone, and sometimes it may be 2-3 hours where these deputies are talking to the subject. He's hanging up, she's hanging up, then they're calling back, and maybe they don't pick up the phone right away. So a lot goes into that, and you got to be patient. You have to be calm, and a lot of times you just have to let them talk. So when that's going on, the command staff is in that big bus that you see. We're listening to the phone calls. We are watching the video, which is going to be outside. We're preparing for what SWAT may or may not have to do. Once again, let's hopefully get them out on their own. So a lot's going into that. So time is always on our side for the most part. So we're going to wait it out.
And you're working with other parts of the agency, aviation, drone?
Correct. All those assets come in. A typical situation, the sheriff mentioned our command bus. That's our command center, our communication center. The command staff with the sheriff, they can listen in on that conversation that the negotiator is having with the subject. In the other end of the bus, that's where our negotiators are, where they're talking. It's also a dispatch center. We can dispatch just not for a crisis with the people that are in distress. We can also use it for manhunts, for searches for people who are lost out east at the parks. We've used it out there before. It's a real versatile vehicle that we can use. But when we use it, the aviation unit is up. The feed comes down. We can see what they see. The drone team is up, flying the drones. We can see what they see, so that we have the information to make the proper decisions as we proceed through that crisis situation. Because it changes in a flip of a switch, things change. It might go worse, it might go less. And so we have the information. At the same time, we also have investigators that are out getting backgrounds on these people, contacting family members. We might bring them to the scene so anything we can do to try to make a peaceful resolution to the crisis, that's what we want. SWAT, they're great. We have the best SWAT team in the state, by far. And Dino Merges, he is awesome as a commander. And when they need to go, they will go. But that's the last resort. And we had to use them at times, and unfortunately, but sometimes it evolves to that.
Right, because whoever we're dealing with brings it to that level.
Correct.
Like Sheriff said, we're doing everything we can. Hey, listen, there's another way.
Yeah, and I think it's important for the community to know that a lot of times we have to come into a neighborhood and we have to displace people, so we have to evacuate that immediate area because we have let's say an armed suspect inside of a home that won't come out. So we need to do that for their safety. But we're going to take our time, and so that's easy for me to say. But when you're 4 hours, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, you're not inside your home in bed, and you're having to wait it out with us. I know sometimes people get frustrated, and we understand that. But we want everyone to go home safely, and for this person going through whatever crisis they're going through to get the help they need.
Would you say too that most of the time it's isolated to that property? Because if it's a threat to the community, we're letting people know, getting the word out that maybe there's somebody that's loose. But most of the time we know that it's isolated to that location. Is that
for the majority
safe to
of
say?
it is isolated to one location, and our deputies, when they respond, they will notify the surrounding neighbors. They will either do the evacuation or to safe areas, contain the scene, so that when we arrive, we can proceed with our negotiations to try to resolve it.
Yeah, so a lot of times, Randy, we can just tell the neighbors, we're locked down in place, right? Just stay inside, don't come out. Sometimes if we have a violent offender and there may be gunfire, or we're concerned that he or she may fire upon us, then we want to, kind of get them out of that immediate area, right? We want to evacuate them because we may have to use flashbangs. It could have shots fired, don't know. If it's just someone inside that's going through a mental health crisis, then obviously we don't need to evacuate, those surrounding homes. But there's a lot of thought that goes into this, and a lot of communication between myself and Ray and Dino with SWAT. So you want to take your time, you want to do the right thing, but we have to protect everyone in that area.
You touched on training, Lieutenant. So from the people that are doing the crisis negotiation, whether it's a hostage type scenario or, like Sheriff said, we've got mental health people, we're coming up with various strategies, and we're learning from other experiences that other places have had, conferences, classes. So that training is just like incredibly vital.
Training is very important. Not only for that, but for anything we do in law enforcement, the training is vital. This especially, and we do monthly training, actual scenarios. We train with SWAT. We train with our special response team also. And we do it in different areas through the county. You might be riding and you see signs on training in progress, MSO, Sheriff's Office. We do it. We put it out on our social media when we train so people don't think that there's an actual situation. But we try to change up these scenarios to match real-life situations. We might see an incident that happened in another state, and we might do a similar training based on that scenario here. And it's valuable. We use different actors, the community, to help us do this, staging at the areas we do. We ask people to donate their space for us to do it, we got a great community here. And we got more offers than we can have training days to use. But sometimes we try to get abandoned houses that's going to be torn down so that SWAT can work with the bomb team to blow open the door or do a distractionary techniques that we can use to get the person out or get hostages out, or people that are trapped in an area that the person doesn't even know they're in the building, that we can safely evac them. So it's a lot going on, and the communications part is a big aspect of it. Make sure the sheriff knows what's going on and what we're doing.
And Sheriff, you never feel like we're over utilizing training dollars, or like, hey, I got guys I need out on the road doing regular calls, but you build in that time. I don't know that a lot of our listeners, viewers realize how much, like you said, you're doing this monthly, but we've got training stuff going on every week from all of our special teams.
There's nothing more important in the law enforcement profession than training. you're going to react the way you train. And we are very focused on making sure that we have the most up-to-date training and allowing our deputies to even come in and train, especially with firearms, on their own if they want to. We have that range open for them. But, here in another month or so, we'll have active shooter training at one of our schools, and we'll use multiple agencies, not just the sheriff's office, but we all train together to make sure that we have different officers there from other agencies that we are training the right way, the same way. And if we have to go in, the left knows what the right's doing, and that's important as well. And that's something that has seriously improved over the last 10 years. The way we all train together with active shooter, and FDLE has continued to upgrade the training procedures, and we adapt. But there's a lot of work that goes into it. You have to train. It's no different than any other profession. If you just go to work every day and don't train with the equipment that you have, or if you're not knowledgeable, you're setting yourself up for failure.
And this month, there's actually a tornado scenario training that's going on, I think, involving the schools and the county. So here we are going into our time of year where we're seeing most of our storms.
You keep trying to
I am
tiptoe around that. I get it.
Don't want to say, hey, folks, it's hurricane season, but it is. It's hurricane season.
That doesn't mean we're going to have a hurricane.
It doesn't.
But you can say, we are in hurricane season.
We are in hurricane season.
Right. We are here.
But I got to tell you, I'd be glad to tell you that predictions are to be a below average year. But it only takes one storm. Only takes one storm to hit us for us to be in a crisis situation.
So even with hurricanes, tornadoes, anything that's weather related that comes our way, you're also spending time doing these scenarios, which is a form of, it is training, and hey, let's play out exactly how this might happen.
Well, go back to the hurricane preparedness. We just got through doing training with our first in teams. And a first in team is after a storm passes, us, the county, the power companies, utilities, public works, these individuals will go out and pre-plan routes to clear the roadways. In addition to that, we have chainsaw teams that we will send out to clear the secondary roadways so that we can get our first responders, the fire department, the EMS can get somewhere. We can get somewhere to help people. So we have that going on. It's more than just, sitting in a room and saying, okay, we got a storm, this road is blocked, let's barricade it. We try to clear those roads. And the sheriff has invested in a lot of money in chainsaws, trailers to haul them. And we give our people specialized training in that for safety aspects of it. So a lot of times they're out there at the night in the dark, power lines are down. We have equipment to be able to detect if it's active so that we can protect ourselves. We have to be safe before we can save someone else. And so all those aspects go into the training for when the storm passes. First.
And where are you at all night?
I'm in the Emergency Operations Center, which is at the Public Safety Complex. It's a great place to stay. Not really. But
they're locked down in there.
You can't leave.
We're locked down in there. It's the nerve center, and the sheriff out in the back. I'm gonna tell you, he would call me from anywhere and say, "Hey, I'm up here. I can't get. What's the route to get over here because of the flooding?" And we get the reports in. We kind of direct him where he needs to go. But hey, this man does not sleep when the storm hits. I tell you that.
None of us do. None of us do. I mean, there's a lot of different areas within the agency that are participating somewhere in this county, trying to help get roads clear, giving people information, letting people know when they can come back to their homes if they had to be evacuated. So, we are, and I'm very thankful for the EOC and public safety and FEMA and how everything has to be documented during a storm and make sure everyone gets the refunds they deserve, the FEMA money they deserve. But in law enforcement, we react differently. So when we had, I think it was when we had that the flooding in Mayaca City, we are standing on State Road 70 in Mayaca City. We have some people on the roofs, and we can't get an airboat to us. That irritated me.
It did.
We don't have time to wait around. So we have to call the EOC, and then they're trying to contact, FWC or whoever has an airboat. So we actually waved down a citizen who was on his way to Sarasota with an airboat. He helped us.
Commandeered it.
Yeah, and so at that point, I'm like, well, this is never going to happen again.
We have an airboat.
It's never going to happen again. I'm not waiting. People expect us to get in there and save them. That's what we're going to do. So we were able to purchase an airboat out of our drug seizure money. It's a big boy. It's ready to go. So if that happens to us again, hopefully not, we're going to have all these assets in place. We're going to go. And we bought a high water vehicle. What's it called? Fat truck?
Fat truck.
It's called the fat truck.
It's a short little stubby truck. And we've go back to the airboat. We actually used it 2 years ago when the storm came in over up by the river on Rye Road to get to a house that was near the river that was flooded. And we got it back up there. In addition to the airboat, we got flat bottom boats that we have that we can deploy. And we strategically put these assets throughout the county because we have a unique county with the flooding. We got the river. And sometimes you can't get south of the river, especially out when you get out east in the Mayaca. So, if the Wauchula Road bridge over the river, you can't go south. You're stuck north. So we put things north and south of the river. And the fact truck that we purchased, it's an amphibious vehicle. It's great. It will hold 6 people. We can rescue 6 people in it. It has big wheels. It can float as well, go over most anything. So we can get that vehicle into these areas, be able to get the people out. It's a great tool and asset.
It is, and it's important for the taxpayers to know that came from our drug seizure funds, which is money that we have seized over the years from drug dealers. So we've taken something bad in our community and purchased something really good that can help others.
What a great way to use it.
Absolutely. So, I don't want people to think we're just going out there just buying all these boats and all these trucks out of taxpayer money. We're not. It's drug dealers' money.
And the amphibious,
it's a good thing.
Yeah, the fat truck amphibious vehicle is pretty popular.
It is popular. We like to when we have events through the county, when the fire department, EMS, they show off their stuff, we will do ours too, because we want people to see what we have, to know that we're there for them, that we're there to provide that service and rescue if they're in need. So we put these vehicles out, the airboat out, and people love it. The kids love it. We let the kids sit in it. It's we want them to be comfortable, know what we purchased, and know that the sheriff's office is there for them. But it's fun to watch the kids get into the vehicle, pretend to drive it.
Yeah,
it's
got like a little joystick.
It drives with the joystick. And the tires inflate and deflate depending on what you need. Inflate them for floating.
It's pretty.
It's a cool vehicle. We had it at the agricultural fair back in January. And yes, it's been out at libraries and various touch a truck events. Stay tuned. You'll see it somewhere.
We've taken it to daycares everywhere. If anybody wants to see the truck, we'd be glad to show it off.
And a great opportunity to explain to the adults, the kids too, everybody, why we have this. It's not just because it's a cool vehicle.
You're right. It's a twofold. Right. The kids get to enjoy it, but we also explain to the parents, hey, this is why we have that vehicle. So it's educational for us, and we like doing it.
How many could you get in there if you had to roll up on a house that was
6
underwater?
People. 6 people. And it's designed where if they're on the roof, we can also get them off the roof if we need to. They can come down.
Which is where these people were located in Mayaca City when we didn't have an airboat. They were on their roof just waiting for some help. And, luckily we were able to get in there. But I think it's important also to know, Randy, during these storms, my deputies don't go home. They stay here all night. Sometimes they have to bunk here at the office or at one of the substations, but they don't go home. So they're trying to take care of their family before the storm hits, because they're not getting back to their home. It may be, 2-3 days, who knows? And we're on, Alpha Bravo shifts. We're working, 12 hours a day, not going home. You got just 2 shifts constantly working. Sometimes you could be on that shift for an entire week. And so they're dedicated. And once again, they understand how important it is for us to be out here helping.
Yeah, when crisis comes, so many people across the whole agency are just going and going and going. And like you said, working out the time and not overdoing it. But there's a point where you got a job to do. Even in this office, we're putting out information, so keeping the media and general public up to date on what's going on. So Ray, you're out there and just having to work with these other agencies at the same time and doing a lot.
That is true. When a state of emergency is declared for the county, the sheriff is the lead law enforcement agency response for the county. So part of what he tasked me to do is I coordinate with those agencies to make sure that they have the resources they need or the manpower they need to be able to respond in their respective jurisdictions. Palmetto, the Beaches, Bradenton, we all work together. We're all one team. But we coordinate that response through the EOC Center. But I want to go back to something the sheriff said about when the storm comes. Every deputy in our agency is at work. Everyone. No one's off. And that includes the jail. Everyone is working. And that when the storm does hit, the winds get high, we take our deputies off the road. They come in. But just as soon as the winds die down, our deputies are the first ones back out on the road, responding to the calls that back up, and we go to emergency calls first. And there are hundreds of them.
And when you hear first teams or first in teams, that's what that is.
Well, we're out before the first in team. First in team is with the county to clear the roadways, but our people go out first. Make no bones, the sheriff office goes out first. And that's because the sheriff mandates that, because we can get there quicker. We have the resources they bought to be able to. We will open up a road, cut the tree out of the way, put it to the sides. We can get an emergency vehicle there.
They're the first.
People, right? Because when the storm hits, people still have. It's stressful. They have heart attacks. They have medical situations. There's suicides. There's overdoses. All that stuff still happens when the storm hits, and we have to respond. And I don't know if the public thinks that most people are safe during the storm. Life is still going on when the storm is hitting. And that's as soon as it passes, we have to be able to get there to continue that service that we provide.
Medical emergencies, regular calls for service.
Yeah, we always try to put the message out there that, when the winds hit a particular, mile per hour, we can't come out. We have to bunker down, right? We're not going to put our deputies in jeopardy. So if you didn't evacuate before that point, we're not going to be able to get to you until the winds die down. And sometimes that's a hard thing for us to accept, because we know people are still going through crisis, and it may be a medical event, but we can't not get to them until that wind subsides, and then that's the first place we're going. But it's hard because you're still getting the calls through 911 and people needing help, but we just can't get to them.
So that leads us to preparation and the things we need to tell people to do. Pay attention, obviously, and you need to have a plan.
Have a plan. I think with the storms a couple of years ago really taught us, our public and us, a lesson that it will happen. I remember Chief Cosby out at the beach when the surge hit. I was talking to him afterwards, and Chief said, I lived here my whole life. And they always said it was going to happen, and it never happened. So he was in his station when the surge came, and he was trapped because he didn't think it was going to happen. He said, now I know to listen to that. And I think that what helped us last time is when that surge came, the public realized it can happen. And then when the other 2 storms, not to knock on wood or anything, but we did not lose life to the storm during those storms.
Right.
Because of preparedness. People listened. They evacuated. They moved out of the flood areas. The system worked. We will go down streets on our PAs for evacuation because not everyone will listen. Not everyone has social media. But we put it out there. But we would do that. Part of our preparedness is to let people know, hey, you're in a flood zone, you need to leave. But this preparedness, it helps. Even tarps. We will deliver tarps. Our deputies, we get them from the county. They get them in. We put them in patrol cars. We take them. We had deputies when the last storm, they were down in trailer estates putting tarps on the trailers for the people. That makes me proud to see that. That is something, and it's something to be proud of.
Well, we're a community.
We are a community, and that's what we all are a community, which with the MSO, we're all family.
That's right.
And Sheriff, we've had deputies out working when their own homes were in disarray, destroyed,
That's right.
damaged, and they're still out there. And you give them a little bit of a break, go check on your family, and then get back to work. And in some cases, I know there's a couple of cases in point,
yeah,
right?
but sometimes it takes them a week before they can truly go home and start working on their damage because they're out here helping everyone else that has been affected. So I mean, it's a special person to be able to do that, and that's why they work here at the Magic County Sheriff's Office, because they are dedicated once again to our community.
Yeah.
I remember when Andrew hit in the early 90s in Miami.
92, I believe.
Yeah, I had to go down there, and I remember, so they paired us up with Metro PD at the time, and I remember the officer I was riding with, his entire home was destroyed by a tornado, and his family was in a hotel, and he was having to work a 12-hour shift every day for weeks. So, but he was out there doing the job, and his family was staying at a motel, and he pretty much lost everything, including his home, and and they were out there doing the job. So that taught me a lot.
Dedication.
Yeah,
That's
right.
important, right?
And we may have experienced an anomaly 2 years ago because that was unusual, and we certainly hope and pray. Ray, did you notice when you walked into our studio here the magnetic hurricane map on the wall over there?
I did.
So that's a classic, sure.
It is a classic.
I think that was made in like 1968.
Had to be. It's old.
And I got
Did
magnets.
that come from Roy Leap?
It may have.
Yeah.
Yes, right. And I tracked the storm in here. It's obviously not the latest and greatest, but we try to stay on top of it. And if you'll notice, it's blank right now, and we're optimistic for a good season. However, we will always be prepared.
Randy's not much.
We're going to be prepared
with technology. I don't want to change anything.
I am old
Speaking
school.
of technology, computer models, they're fairly accurate. But now the European artificial intelligence model has came out, and it's highly accurate.
Really?
So we shall see how that works this year.
Okay. Well,
Hopefully.
we love our spaghetti models.
We do. They're all over the place.
And usually if you're in the crosshairs in the beginning, maybe that's a good thing. Isn't that kind of what was happening? A couple of times we were in the crosshairs, and I was like, okay, good, but we're still several days out.
I don't even want to talk about it.
I know. That's why I was not wanting to say the word
I just wanted to
hurricane.
move on.
I know, but it is the season.
But, hey, if it happens, we're prepared.
Yeah,
We are.
Well,
Bottom line.
we know where we live. We're on a peninsula. We're surrounded by water. We love it here. This is why Florida is such a great place to be. But, for a few months out of the year, we have to be ready. And again, you guys are doing more than just emergency responses when it comes to navigating severe weather. I mean, it's a lot of crises that can come up. And so what a great job Lieutenant Ray Moss is doing and leading that team.
Yeah, and a special thank you to the men and women who have kind of gone above and beyond and taken on added responsibilities and want to be a part of emergency services. And they do an outstanding job, and we're very thankful for that because we need them.
Good. Well said.
Well said.
It's the name of the show, Ray.
I know, but I had to,
Did you?
I had to
Yeah.
say it.
Well, you had to say it. Right. Well, we want all the content, all the conversation to be just that. It's well said, and another good episode and useful information, because we will talk about this over the next few months, and even as you go to our catalog of shows and pull this one back up, episode number 13, Ray. You can tell all your friends back in North Carolina. Go find that.
You still have friends in North Carolina?
I do.
There you go.
I just hope that everyone can understand my accent.
I mean,
Because sometimes I need a
we get
translator.
we can do a closed caption, or we
got a
can
lot
help them
of
out a
sign
little bit.
We got a lot of accents around here.
I think they're going to be surprised that they have seen you for the first time in uniform, because you don't usually have to wear your greens.
Well, I was trying to impress you today.
You look good. You look real
Yeah,
good.
I know. This is back
And
to
you
us.
still can fit.
Well, you know
inside of
why?
it. Yeah, you're a runner. You're a basketball
Player.
Yeah.
North
Yes.
Carolina ACC
North Carolina
basketball.
boy. That's
Yes.
right. Yeah.
Michael
Here we go.
Jordan.
He is a Tar
Here we
Heel.
go.
There we go. That's all good. That's good stuff. Thank you, Lieutenant Moss.
Thank you.
Sheriff.
Thank you,
And
Randy.
we appreciate people that continue to tune in. Spread the word. Tell people about where to find us on all the podcast platforms. Watch us here on our YouTube channel so you get a little look at what's going on in the studio here right off of our public information office. Reach out to me and my team. Email us, pio@manateesheriff.com. Ideas, suggestions, and we just appreciate you. For Sheriff Rick Wells and Lieutenant Ray Moss, I'm Randy Warren. We'll talk to you next time.